Sometime in 2010, my wife agreed to buy me a PKE meter 1-to-1 prop replica from Mattel, but she would not let me have it until my birthday in early January of 2011. And this one purchase sort of rekindled my love of Ghostbusters because it had faded away from me. When you're in your teens and 20s and you feel like you're the only guy around that still cares about these movies, it, you know, all got boxed up for various reasons, stored in my parents' attic, and was in the back of my brain. You know, I had picked up things like the Time Life Real Ghostbusters DVD sets and things, but I really wasn't yet aware how big of a community there was until that present made me want to look up some things, maybe make my own flight suit, maybe make a proton pack. And here were these websites and things that had grown up in my absence, my long dormant phase, that the research, the detective work that people had done to say, what is that? Oh, I know what that is. That's this. And to share that information with everybody out there. Identifying every component on an ectomobile or a proton pack or what have you. That was when I started learning terms like Iona shoe polishers, you know. So I was impressed with that, and around 2012, I was still getting very into looking at screenshots and going, okay, what's that? Has anybody identified that magazine right there? And looking through magazines from that year until I found a match for the cover of that magazine, etc., etc., etc. So there were a lot of set dressing props, especially from Ghostbusters 2, that no one seemed to know what they were, and I got some lucky hits and figured out what a few things were and procured a few of them. There was also a couple of things that I didn't recognize because I just don't think that here in the Deep South we had this brand. But there were these potato chip bags in Peter Venkman's apartment.
Oh no, she cleaned.
And it took me a little while. I was like, what does that say? Is it Litz? Is it Utz? What's the name of this? You know, so, and then what were the individual flavors? One you could kind of make out and the other was a little harder, but I pieced it together. They were Utz chips. There was one that was salt and vinegar and one that was crab chip. Okay, never heard of that. I work at a place that sells crab. I do a tutorial for how to crack crab leg. I really should shoot a video of that one day and record that for posterity of how to crack crab legs. But, so how had I never heard of crab chips in my life at that point? You know, 2012, you know, I was 42 years old. So, skip forward to 2014, I'm in New York City with my friend Adam, who is my host, and we're going to as many Ghostbusters filming locations as I could find.
So here's where the baby buggy crosses and stops for the bus. So we were coming from First Avenue, heading to our next location, and I see a guy coming out of this little shop here, eating a bag of Utz salt and vinegar potato chips, and I was like, oh, thank you so much. I saw the guy, I'm like, hey, did you buy those in there? He's like, yeah, I did. So here's one of my souvenirs, a little bit of set dressing from Peter Venkman's apartment in Ghostbusters 2, which we might see in the next couple of days.
I wouldn't know.
Shut up. Back here is where Rick Moranis runs, and he stops here to catch the bus. You know, stay fit, keep sharp, make good decisions. And the bus pulls up, and of course it's driven by Slimer. So I'm going to wait right here for Rob and Shelby to come pick me up and take me home. I told you that's where the bus really stopped.
Point, Alex.
We find couple of flavors, but not crab chips. So I bought some of the salt and vinegar. I don't like the smell.
That is not what I meant. That is definitely not what I meant.
Nothing good happens when vinegar is involved.
Like, I wouldn't be with Noah if I didn't feel like...
Definitely.
I didn't feel like
Not like it.
Was not a fan. I also bought some regular potato chips.
Like my mom wanted me to make this like chart of like all the things that are important to me and like how I can like change them for like
I'm good.
for to figure out like what I want.
Before they moved home, though, Adam found the crab chips in a store, and he mailed me a bag. Literally, the bag with nothing in it. I was like, so you didn't mail the chips? What'd you do with the chips? He's like, oh, I ate those. He goes, I thought it'd be cheaper just to mail you the bag. I was like, oh, what did they taste like? He was like, about like you'd expect. Ever helpful, that Adam Neal. So, that's 2014. That's 7 years ago that I tried the salt and vinegar chips. And I have a bag of the crab chips. You know, they're not the right vintage from 1989, like I say, to you know, use them as a screen accurate prop or anything, but it's just something to have, a little memento of my trip. The other day, I was at a local gas station. Utz crab chips have arrived in the Deep South. So I think it is long overdue that I actually taste some of these for myself, since I've been obsessed with them for 9 years now. All right, interesting aroma. So this is the companion video to the one shot in 2014 of me eating the salt and vinegar chips. That's not what I was expecting, Adam. Not at all. It's almost like a celery flavor. Chesapeake Bay crab seasoning. You know, we have so many things where I work that are Chesapeake flavors, and this ain't one of them. The only real flavor I'm getting from this is celery. It's not giving me a list other than paprika, maltodextrin, sugar, onion powder, honey powder, maltodextrin, honey, disodium inositol, and disodium guanylate, citric acid, potatoes, cottonseed oil, salt, spices, dextrose. Okay. I mean, they're not bad. I like I've already eaten more of these than I did of the salt and vinegar ones in 2014. Oh no. I dropped a piece. Okay. So, better than the other one that I tried in New York City. And I didn't have to incur debt to obtain these much. So, all right. So, even though you've never paid attention to those potato chips in Ghostbusters 2, because they didn't mean anything, you might be able to get this flavor where you live, but this is brand new to me. If these chips have ever been sold anywhere around here before, I've certainly never noticed them. It was since 2014 that I went to New York City that I first saw Utz products start showing up on shelves, and then it was the big clear tub of cheese balls. So, like I say, I've been aware of the name brand only since 2012. I've only seen them in stores since after 2014. Never seen that flavor show up here in Florence, Alabama until now. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. What? I have no idea, but I hope it was something.